I live in my BF's country. I speak the language at an advanced level, but not fluent ESP with medical terms. So I have severe anxiety and dental phobia. I haven't been to the dentist in years and my BF was hinting I should go. We agreed I would get anti-anxiety pills first and then go. He was going on a business trip and I wanted to get my anxiety meds, but there wasn't enough time before, so I did it when he was abroad. Then I went to a dental clinic. Everything went well and I told him about my appointment afterwards. I expected a happy and proud reaction that I did something I was scared of, but instead he was livid. He said I deceived him and did this behind his back. You did what I really hate and you did it alone to avoid the situation with me, while deceiving me. And I think you are a true coward who avoids scary situations. Honestly, it is true I was scared of his reaction if I have cavities. I thought he would blame me more than the dentist. So he is angry because I didn't tell him about the appointment or bring him with me. And he also thinks I am getting tricked, because they told me I need to come back in for a deep cleaning since it has been so long. Yet when he goes to a clinic he doesn't ask permission or let me know beforehand. Plus, just last week at the airport he forced me to do something alone because I have to be independent, and the week before he didn't go with me to my haircut for the same reason. It seems like mixed signals to me. He ruined the good mood I had after overcoming a fear of mine, and it also feels very, very controlling. What should I do? Edit. He has gone to the dentist alone before and only told me after the fact. Multiple times. Edit. His explanation for deception is this. 1. We made a rough plan to go to the dentist soon, together. 2. I told him I need my anti-anxiety meds before the dentist. Before he left I said I want to refill them but didn't explain I had booked a dentist app. Because honestly I wasn't even sure I could go through with it. So I didn't explain to him why I wanted the meds. I just said I wanted to finish something on my to-do list, which was also true. Then when he was gone I got the meds and went to the dentist myself. Because originally I preferred that. So he says I wasn't transparent since I planned everything and only told him after. Not the idiot. And girl, your description is short yet it has so many red flags that I don't know why you're not making a run for it. You're an adult. You don't need his permission to do anything. You're an adult and don't need him to babysit you for you to go to your appointments even if it's for a haircut. You're entitled not to tell him everything you do. He's being possessive. Not the idiot. This feels like genuine gaslighting. Switching between making you feel like you have to ask permission for appointments and then making you go alone because he wants you to be independent. Bet your head is swimming. And why on earth should someone be scared of going to the dentist with their partner? What was he implying with that? Like, why do you need to avoid it? This is super messed up. I would be bailing as soon as possible. Not the idiot. And you didn't secretly go to the dentist. You went to the dentist when it was convenient for you, like any normal person. Any loving partner would be proud of you. This behavior is really controlling and scary. I'd get out. Such people will often spend a long time as perfect boyfriends, years, to make you feel like you can't leave them, and then switch to their terrible side when they think you can't leave. I think he's mad because you showed independence and now he's testing to see if you'll put up with his gaslighting. I, 56, met Jeff, 58, my now husband, around 30 years ago. We both had sons from previous relationships, Julio 32, Jeff's son, and Roger 31, my son. We also have a daughter 27. We've always been a regular blended family. My husband treated all our kids equally, so did I. Roger calls Jeff dad and Julio calls me mom, as the boys met when they were really young. And they always got along well and they even didn't see each other as stepbrothers but brothers. This all changed about 10 years ago. The thing is that Roger had a girlfriend who cheated on him with Julio. They had a huge argument. Roger ended up moving in with his biological dad and basically disowned Julio. He never talked to Julio again. When Roger came to visit, he made sure Julio wasn't here. No matter how hard Julio and his girlfriend tried to apologize, my son never accepted the apologies. Julio ended up marrying her 5 years ago and they have a daughter. To show Julio that there are consequences of his actions, so we, my husband and I, banned his wife from our house. Julio understood. A year ago, my son came out and introduced us to his fiancée. We welcomed him and let him know we love him to the stars and back. He is going to get married in a couple of weeks, but he hasn't invited Julio. Julio was sad when he found out that his brother was getting married and didn't invite him. Julio invited Roger to his wedding. I think that since he never really liked the girl, it wasn't a big deal. And also because it happened 10 years ago, he should get over it and enjoy the family and niece he has. We met at a cafe 3 days ago to talk about the wedding. Thus I asked him if he changed his mind about inviting his brother. He said no, so I told him to get over himself since that happened 10 years ago, and he's only missing a loving brother and a niece. He told me it wasn't my business to say who he can invite or not. He also said that I can attend, but I will no longer walk him down. And he asked his dad and my husband instead, which makes me furious since this is my child and my right to walk him down on his special day. My husband accepted, an idiot move if you ask me, and said I was an idiot for forcing things, but I'm not. I just want my son to forgive his brother and welcome this new chapter of his life with positive vibes instead of resentment. He didn't even like the girl, so it's not a big deal. Now everyone calls me an idiot, even my daughter. So am I really an idiot, or are they just overreacting? You are the idiot. It has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that Julio knowingly stabbed him in the back by making love with his then partner. Roger will never get over being betrayed by someone he thought he could trust. By pushing it, you are also betraying him. He's an adult who has made his choice, and you are refusing to respect that. If you don't drop the subject entirely and permanently, Roger will cut you out of his life just like he has Julio. I'm sure it's not even about the girl, it's the fact that his own loving brother did that to him. Not so loving really. I mean honestly, you have your whole family telling you that you're an idiot and you won't even listen to them. The people that know you and Roger better than anyone. You want things your way and expect everyone to change around you to accommodate it. You are the idiot. It doesn't matter that Julio invited Roger to the wedding years ago. In fact, that was a huge slap in the face to him, I'm sure. You need to mind your business. You don't get to decide how he responds to a huge betrayal. Julio is the one that caused permanent damage to your family. Also, the whole "well, it doesn't even matter now" line of thought needs to be tied to a rock and thrown in the ocean. My wife and I, 28, have been together for nearly 10 years. We got married very young and now have 2 kids together. The issue at hand is my wife refusing to get her license. It's become an ongoing topic of discussion that always ends her claiming she'll try harder and she never follows through. She has let 3 permits expire over the years, and hasn't even bothered to attempt a 4th since the last expired in May. I drive her to and from work every single day, because she is the breadwinner in our marriage and I stay home running a small business with our 2 kids. But over the years I've become resentful of having to drive her everywhere, especially when it interferes with the plans I have for the day, because I have to sit around and wait to take her places, like appointments for myself, the kids, grocery shopping, even just normal trips to the zoo or something, with the kids' sleep schedule, with me having to wake them to pick her up late at night, or even because of the demanding nature in which she tells me to drive her. Even being angry with me when we are running late, annoyed when I am feeling sick and don't want to pick her up, or any other reason that she doesn't have me outside waiting for her the minute she's off work. I have tried asking why she won't drive and have gotten nowhere with it. I even put my foot down and have refused to drive her, but she just started using Uber and it's costing us hundreds of dollars a month, which we cannot afford. Instead of getting her license, she gets angry at me for not driving her and instead wasting money with Uber. I cannot continue with her being angry at me all of the time, and I cannot keep waking my kids and dropping everything I'm doing the minute she needs a ride. I'm so tired of it, and I have voiced this on many occasions. I have pushed her to go to therapy, which she did for a while, but she refused to bring up the driving thing. Eventually I made a comment about not enjoying driving her to therapy, after she demanded I drive her during dinner, instead of asking, just to have to wait in the parking lot with 2 kids for an hour, or to drive all the way home just to turn around and come back. And she snapped at me saying, "So you're mad that I'm going to the therapy you told me to go to?" Which is definitely not even close to what I said. I never used to mind much since she worked and I didn't, but 10 years and 2 kids later it is taking a toll. I thought she would get to driving eventually, as she always promised she would. Would I be the idiot if I told her I'd leave her over this issue? I'm at my wit's end. Not the idiot. You're her wife, not her personal chauffeur. While I think divorce may be a bit of an overstep, based off of the info given, it would be important to have a proper conversation about it all. Is there anything stopping her from using public transport or any other means to get around, bike, etc.? Unless there's some serious trauma that needs to be worked through around her driving, it's time to start working towards getting her license. What will happen if you're sick or injured and can't take her or the kids somewhere? Not the idiot. Goodness. Divorce is heavy-handed, so make sure you really mean it and can deal with the fallout. You have every right to be upset. As your partner, she's not even trying to meet you halfway. Since she's the main breadwinner, this sounds like complete entitlement to me. Like I make the money, the least you could do is drive me. If that's the case, that is abusive. She is not even treating you like a partner or your kids like a family. She has no respect for you or your children. You'll exist to keep her happy on her terms and nothing more. You and the kids deserve more than this. Not the idiot, but perhaps ask her family and friends why she's afraid of driving. My husband and his mom were in a horrible car accident when he was little and it scared him so much. He never even got a learner's permit. When we got married, he was 24, and I told him I would need him to learn how to drive eventually. I didn't push, and gave him time to get used to the idea, but he knew I meant business. I also told him that driving was fun and he'd love it if he gave it a chance. Turns out I was right. He got his license 2 years after we got married, and the first car he picked out for himself was a big old truck. My sister and I are fraternal twins, male and female, but we are nothing alike. Throughout my life, I resented my sister. It's awful, but it is the truth. You know when people say that parents don't have a favorite child? That's a lie. My parents had one, and it was my sister. Everything in our home was meant for her, as the princess's birthright. Anniversaries, only about her. Presents, she would get them every year. Holiday, while I wouldn't. Why were things like this? Because my family wasn't rich, and all they could scrounge would go to her. As a man, my father would often tell me to just swallow it and toughen up. It was my duty to allow her to be happy. This was the story of my life, until I left home for college in another city. As college is free here, housing during college is also free. I could become independent of my parents and work part-times or assist teachers to make up any income one could to survive, food, etc. Today, I'm in medical school, and I'm still doing all these things to get by, as I prefer it than being dependent on my parents. My sister got married 5 years ago, and currently is living in the same city in which I study. She has 2 kids, and they are quite lovely children. The problem is, she is constantly asking me to help her take care of them, babysitting or taking them to parks, etc. However, I don't have that much time, but this has never stopped her. She once got my class schedule online to make charts to when I should take care of the kids. Regardless, at the start of June, the week of the 6th, I had my finals, and the 2 weeks before that were full of unhealthy amounts of coffee and sleepless nights. Now, during that period, I was barely looking after myself. There was no way I could take care of a child. She, however, didn't care, and asked me if their children could stay with me for a week, as she and her husband had booked a vacation trip. Even if I could, I wouldn't do this. So, I told her that I wouldn't take care of them, as I had other responsibilities. She didn't respond to my message after that. During my vacation from school, I decided to call my parents and see if we could have lunch together. Almost as soon as my mother picked up the line, she was fuming. Apparently, my sister has been talking to them about how awful of a brother and uncle I was. That I did not lift a finger to help her out with the kids, taking so far as calling me an ungrateful idiot. Now, this really left a sour taste in my mouth. I'm not close with my parents, but I don't want them to hate me or something. I don't really know if I behave too poorly or if I'm in the right. Many years of strange familial interactions will make you feel that way. So, I want to ask here if I'm the idiot here. Not the idiot. The only people who are responsible for your nibblings are your sister and their spouse. This might sound kind of harsh, but what are you actually getting from your family? They neglected you for your entire childhood, which is a form of abuse, and even now only seem to care about you for how you can make their life easier. Do you really want to spend the rest of your life being harassed to help them? I can just imagine when you graduate medical school that they'll be demanding you help pay for tuition for your nibblings since you make so much more money. Your sister has been raised to be an idiot by major idiots of an extreme level. Sever all communication and live a happy life. Draw a boundary around people who abuse you. Yes, this is abuse, belittling you, and your demanded help. If you want to be a part of these people's lives, expect continued abuse. You are a second-class citizen in your own family. You are not an idiot. Exams are brutal. You need time for your studies. You are important and so is your education. Not the idiot. Your relatives are the use and abuse type. I'm sure you love them, but they don't seem to return the feelings. You are doing awesome despite how they won't help and they keep trying to knock you down. Look at your relatives this way. They taught you how not to treat your children. When the time comes, you will treasure your kids and wife. It's time to cut all contact with those people you shared DNA with. I don't call them family because they have not treated you like family. Blood does not make you family.